All right, guys, here's a question about completing the square. Not an easy process. This one is very similar to the one I was asked about. And so notice that it's equal to 4. And one of the things with completing the square that's different from like quadratic formula and factoring is that we don't need it to be equal to 0 to start. In fact, we want that number to be on the opposite side of the equation. So to move that -1 over, we need to add 1 to both sides. We get x squared plus 4x. I'm going to leave a blank where that 0 is, where there's nothing right now, equals 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay. There's a formula that you have to remember with completing the square, and that is b over 2 squared. So that's what we're about to use now. So think about standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, right? So b over 2 means the number in front of x. In this case, it's a 4. So think about if we plug into the formula 4 over 2 squared, 4 divided by 2, that's just 2. 2 squared is 4. So it's an unusual one where it ends up being the same number. Obviously, it's not the same number every time, or we would just say, whatever that number is, write it again, right? But it's not. So it just happened to be on this one. Okay. I add 4 to one side of the equation. So notice that I put plus 4 on the other side of the equation. You gotta keep it balanced. All right. So let's clean this side up. 5 plus 4 is just 9. That's kind of nice. Over here we have x squared plus 4x plus 4. And so what we actually have is a perfect square trinomial. So the point of this was to have this nice, pretty perfect square trinomial so that we could sort of factor it. And the way that you do that is you take the square root of the first term and write it here, and the square root of the second term, and you write it here. Square root of 4 is 2. And the sign in the middle goes in the middle. So this is x squared plus 4x plus 4 is really x plus 2 all squared together. And so that's what we have there. Now we're still solving, which means we're finding solutions, which means we're finding what the value of x equals. So here I'm going to change colors just so you can see that I want to take the square root of both sides, because I'm trying to figure out what x equals, not x squared. And in this case, x plus 2 squared, especially not that. So when I take the square root, what's interesting to me is that the square root and the little squared cancel each other out. They equal 1. And so we're just left with whatever was underneath the radical, which is the x plus 2. And the square root of 9 is plus or minus 3. Remember to use your plus or minus in an equation. The square root of 9 is 3, but technically think about it could be a -3 because -3 times -3 is positive 9. So, all right, we're almost there. I want us to split this because we've now got two things going on. We've got the idea that x plus 2 could be equal to positive 3, but x plus 2 could also be equal to -3. All right, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides here. X is 1. If I subtract 2 from both sides here, though, I get x is -5. So I have two solutions to this quadratic equation. One is a solution, and -5 is a solution. And you're going to see that written with brackets around it. And that's the process. Not a simple process by any means. I mean, it's, there's a lot to it. But I hope that's helpful to you.